So this is going to be our general meeting of the annual meeting of the year. I'm going to give you, I have to read this because a lot of this is sort of things that have to be mentioned at this meeting. I'll go through the agenda. It's going to allow you also to have an opportunity to speak up on matters that are of interest before the association. So you will have that opportunity at some point. I'll give you the whole agenda. So let's start it. Dave, can we record this?
Yes. Thanks.
Okay. So, welcome NYSAC members and friends of good environmental planning. The New York State Association of Conservation Commissions was created in 1972 by the New York State Department of Environmental Conservation to support communities who were given authority by the New York State Legislature in the late 1960s to establish conservation advisory commissions and boards, whose purpose was to assist the municipalities and counties on environmental matters. Our association bylaws require that NYSAC hold an annual general meeting of members to elect a slate of candidates for the board of directors and to conduct any business that requires membership involvement. Our bylaws require that any votes taken by this meeting must reflect that a quorum consisting of 5% of members in good standing, in other words, those who have paid their 2025 NYSAC dues, are here in person or here virtually. Based on our current membership, we've come to the calculation that we have a quorum. So that, just know that we're all set to go. Steve Otis is not here.
I am here.
Do you want to do this little thing here now?
Because we moved to this smaller room, I brought my dog back to his his room. But the story I was gonna tell.
Come up here, get here in front.
It is a Conservation Commission story of sorts, which is back in the 1990s in my community. Back in the 1990s in my community.
You have to get here just because you'll be on camera.
Oh, sorry. In the 1990s, we wanted to get dog owners in our community to pick up after their dogs, which is a good environmental thing. So instead of the punitive sort of sign that has a dog ugly crouching and the fine, we decided to go with positive enforcement. And we had a sign that said, please pick up after your dog. And then there was a silhouette of a Labrador Retriever, because I had a Labrador Retriever. And then it said, protect Rise environment. And by sending a positive message rather than a punitive message and reminding people that not picking up after your dog is bad for the environment, we had much better cooperation. So my dog was to be here to help illustrate that story, but this room is too small, and if he barked, everyone would freak out. So that's my introduction to our annual meeting.
Thank you very much. All right, so let me just continue with this the meeting, because we want to get you out, in and out, but we also want to have opportunity to speak, and there's a lot of information that we want to pass on to you. The agenda for today's meeting is as follows. We're going to elect election of board of director members as your president and Julie Noble as your vice president. One of us would normally conduct the voting, but both Julie and I are on the slate. So I've asked Matt Savello, who's the who's the treasurer of NYSAC, to conduct that part of the meeting. Per our bylaws, only members in good standing can vote, and only one member from each municipality or county can vote for their commission. This is a bit tricky because this is the first time we've had a hybrid conference, but I see all the people on the Zoom call are actually members of the board of directors, so it's really not that big a deal. But so raise your hand if you're on a CAC or a Climate Smart Task Force or something along those lines. So we have, okay. Are you the sole person from your group? Okay. So you should give yourself, just appoint one of the people to vote for, and again, I'm not expecting too much controversy on this, so it's really not, it's not going to be something requiring a lot of decision-making. Either you like us or you don't like us, so we appreciate that. So again, just I'll give you a moment or two just to figure out who's gonna vote for you. Following the election, there will be a presentation from each of our board of director chairs or project committees to give you a brief update on their activities this past year. While both standing committees and project committees are open to our membership, it is the latter that provides a direct connection with our members' activities within their communities. Project committees have a limited existence and were established to examine issues that the board of directors find of interest to our general membership with the goal of producing a document to be shared with you. Recently, the board of directors has updated the association bylaws, and I'll review those changes, these significant changes with you. And lastly, we will open the floor to members and guests, whether here in person or virtually, to raise any matters you would like to bring before our association. So I'm going to open the meeting and invite Matt. I saw you just a second ago. If you can come up here and just run through the slate of candidates. And we're adding one more that you don't have on your list. I know I'm throwing you off speed here by doing that, but I'll whisper in your name. Okay. Mung Tu. Remember that name?
Do we have a picture?
No, you don't have a picture. And he's from Region 3. I'll feed you
Okay,
these.
and the only thing is I need the,
What do you need?
I don't have the printout for the,
Oh, I thought I sent that to you.
yeah, I
You
wasn't
didn't?
supposed
You
to.
don't have that on your phone?
Hold on.
All right, give us a second.
Stand by, we have a little housekeeping. I do want to recommend we use the Chicago style of voting, which is early and often, so.
We need a dog for that story. You know? We don't have a dog here.
Let me see if I can get it. Hold on.
All right.
Oh, I'm sorry about that. I didn't know I was supposed to bring this.
So I get it. All right, I'm gonna,
While you guys are thinking, can I do something?
yes.
Mom, can you hear me? Yes, no?
Yeah, you can.
Sorry. Amy, can you hear me? Could you unmute yourself and speak?
Yes, I can hear you.
In here.
I have your first email, that's your second.
Thanks.
You send it under NYSACC president.
Amy, can you unmute yourself and try to speak again?
Yes, I can hear you.
This is it.
No?
Remember, where did he send it?
Uh,
Send it to my portfolio, so.
Sure, hold on.
The problem is.
All right.
You have it on your phone.
I
can
do.
Take it.
Continue discussing who's gonna vote. So while we figure this one out, give us a moment.
David, would you come up here for just a sec?
So,
Okay, so am
I can't tell if the computer is muted or if it's this, it's not. Well, sorry, I mean, if there's sound coming out of this.
All right, I think I can at least give the names and then you can run the meeting. There are 7 people that are up for election on our slate. Mung Tu is here. Amy is here. Garrett Marino is not here. His car broke down, so he's up for reelection. I'm up for reelection. Julie's up for reelection. And so that's 5 people, and I need 2 more people. Who are the other 2? That's the problem. Who? No, you're not up for reelection.
No,
You know what? Let me see if I have this.
yeah, if you could do that, that would be great. That, if you have the original email, super.
Yeah.
Time, you were the one that sent it?
Yeah, this was your, one of your.
I hope Time's not running for anything,
No, he's not. He's
because we're gonna
running
eliminate
away.
him.
I'm scrolling, I'm trying.
Scroll time, scroll, baby, scroll. Sorry about that. I didn't know I was supposed to bring this. Yeah, there's a lot of emails. Oh, boy.
Yeah, I'm looking up right
So
now.
it was something that was sent as a newsletter that.
It's not on one of those
meetings. And the,
That's the awards.
this was sent out about a week or so ago. You got it? All right, you got it. Thank you. Judy.
Judy.
What we're demonstrating right now is how extra
I didn't know it was
support from
supposed to be.
members like you could have us more
Better
organized
be up on the
and ready
wall.
for moments like this. So please get involved in our work groups and subcommittees.
Do you have it on your screen? Okay, because I was gonna say you could just read them off too.
Oh, we got it. It's coming. Okay.
Okay, good.
Now
Yeah,
let's.
sit down.
All right, so I'm gonna, I'm gonna read these names. I'm gonna read. Okay, perfect. Hold on. I'll tell you to advance the. So we have Steve. Yeah, so well, there you go. That's gone. That's back. Okay. Steve Nicholson, Region 7, member of Tompkins County Environmental Management Council. Garrett Marino, Region 5, coordinator of the Village of Saranac Lake Climate Smart Communities Task Force. Julie Noble, Region 3, Sustainability Coordinator for the Climate Smart program, I think in Kingston, right? Kingston, guess where we are? Okay, yeah, make it bigger. Now I've forgotten. Okay, so Kate Schmidt, Region 3, Sustainability Coordinator of SUNY Orange County. Simon Skolnick, Region 3, member of the Town of Bedford Conservation Board. Amy Stipa, Region 9, Sustainability Coordinator for the Village of Lancaster, and Mung 2, what region?
3.
Region 3,
Town of LaGrange.
Town of LaGrange
Conservation Board.
Conservation Board. Now we're going to vote on this as a slate.
I would like to make a motion to take a vote for the slate as it exists.
Do I have a second?
And I second that motion.
Okay, so all of those members who are in favor of voting for this slate, please say aye or raise your hands. I guess raising your hands is better. And let the secretary count the votes. And online as well, folks online, if you could raise your hands so that we can count. I'm going to raise my hand too.
17? All right, 17.
And anyone against?
Anyone against this slate?
Hey, hand up. No. This is, are you
against it?
being
Yeah.
elected?
I have one more category. Any abstentions? One abstention. That's fine. Anyone else? I'm going to declare that motion carried.
Thank you very much. Essential part of this meeting is now concluded. Okay. Now I just have to get back to my screen that had the good stuff on it. Let's do that. Julie, here we go. So, okay. So what the next item on the agenda is having reports given by members of the board of directors on project committees that they're working on. And what I'm going to do is ask those members who are going to give their report to come up to the stand and do it that way. And again, at any time, if anyone has any questions, this is a good opportunity to raise questions about anything that the board is doing. So the first person is our Environmental Justice Network. Paul Presendu is he's the chair of that committee. Paul sitting here. Do you want to come up and speak about that?
Oh, yes, that can also be shared as well too.
Put it on the screen.
Yeah, I guess that could work, because I scrambled together with, John Rhodes. Even though I am chair, John Rhodes is the real power behind the scenes because he's been a wealth of resource of knowing. Yes, oh, all right. So yes, so this is a report I scrambled to put together with the help of John Rhodes, making sure that we, as the Environmental Justice Forum, could really make sure that we're building a database that could serve as a resource hub for communities all across the state of New York. Based upon data that John and I have been calculating, we identified that due to New York State Disadvantaged Communities Mapping Tool, over 6 million residents in New York State, that's a lowball number, reside in an environmental justice census tract. And we're in the process of tabulating all the municipalities so we can know the villages, towns, and cities that have an environmental justice census tract so that they can be aware about specialized funding that's allocated to them. Thanks to the leadership of individuals such as Assemblyman Steve Otis, we passed in 2019 the Climate Leadership and Community Protection Act, which allocates 35 to 40% of funding to go towards our environmental justice census tracts. And number one of the things that we want to do is make sure that we are hosting a virtual environmental justice summit, making sure it's virtual so that we can eliminate any geographic barriers for people to be able to access it, and making sure people are able to tune in for the convenience of their home to have these conversations. And also because we notice that in environmental justice, some of these problems are personal and people may not feel confident speaking in person about them. They might want to be off camera talking about things that most people might be shocked about is happening. We have people in environmental justice communities that are paying rent to die, in terms of the discomforts that they're persevering, issues such as bed bugs, mold infestations, rodent infestations, a lot of things, just looking at the full umbrella, but making sure it's intermunicipal partnerships and also how we could partner with, our local CACs, the DEC's Office of Environmental Justice. Alana Kettle-Tucky has been an extremely valuable partner in the past for our programming. And then also seeing if we could loop in other statewide orgs, our other twin NYSACC org, New York State Association of Counties, New York State Conference of Mayors, Association of Towns, making sure that we are all collectively a statewide associations. We still have our environmental justice survey that anyone could look at, NYSACC EJ survey, after tinyurl.com. We want to make sure we do another push of that survey, getting it to all communities, and also seeing if we could be able to push it towards neighborhood associations, community-based organizations that reside in these environmental justice census tracts. People might get our survey and say, who is NYSACC? But if we could have a local stakeholder group as an advocate could help us, it will be invaluable to make sure that we are aware of 2026, what we can be doing. We want to make sure we're coordinating with the Office of Environmental Justice for the DEC, being that ally so that they can know that they could count on us at NYSACC to get information out towards our members that represent environmental justice census tracts. And this could be grant opportunities, program opportunities, webinars that they're doing. Most people aren't aware of the DEC email list, so we could be another method for them to get information out, and also for us to build up partnerships with the DEC so that they could be able to get a lot of communication out more effectively. Most importantly, strengthening coalitions with communities of color. That is very, very important, especially as I look around this room, only person of color. That's a problem, and we need to address that by partnering with organizations that exist, that work in the space. NAACP, New York State Conference, has an environmental justice committee we could partner with. Us or other organizations that work in specialized fields. Green Latinos, which helps engage members of the Hispanic Latin community of leadership. Asia Pacific Islander Environmental Network that does the same thing for the AAPI community. And also making sure that we're basically learning from who's already doing this so that we could be able to have this sense of synergy and investment. And also because the environmental justice census tracts are predominantly comprised of residents of community of colors and low-income communities. So we need to make sure that we are sending people to talk to residents that they feel culturally resonate with them or have a shared experience, in order for us to make sure that we're building lifelong partnerships or generational partnerships as we start off this movement. And also organizations such as We Act for Environmental Justice, Climate Defiance, some of the orgs that exist out there that have been walking the talk in the EJ space, how we could partner with them to learn best practices. Interfaith engagement. The climate emergency has strengthened my faith, to say the least, things that are happening, and how can we engage our houses of worship to be able to serve as information hubs for how people could learn and how they could be able to take resources home and digest it so that they're more receptive to things that are being done. Being able to learn how to read your energy bill, how to learn what a heat pump is, how solar credit is generated. This is definitely ways that we could be able to get these resources. And also, as same thing with engaged communities of color, learning from the best practice organizations already do this work. Jewish Climate Action Center does this work, engaging synagogues and also members of the Jewish faith on how to become stewards for climate. Organizations like Green Muslims, for members of the Islamic faith, engaging mosques and how they can serve as climate leaders. And also Catholic Climate Covenant, Green the Church, engaging house of worship affiliated with the Christian or Catholic faiths. This is important so that we can not only get information out through a new dimension through these hubs, because these are places where people are naturally congregating and our ability to better meet people where they are. And also because these houses of worships, they're not floating in the sky like castles on Mount Olympus. They are invested in sewage infrastructure, waste recycling infrastructure. It's important that they know how they could access rebates and incentives to retrofit their properties and lower their ecological footprint as well too. So altogether, we do have a couple of next steps that John and I are going to be pushing, especially with the design and scope of an environmental justice summit, and make sure that we are getting into good trouble doing this type of programming. Also support committee efforts in promoting an environmental justice survey amongst our member networks, and also to endorse the community's ongoing engagement with the DEC, so they know that in NYSACC, the DEC has an ally in environmental justice. Thank you all.
The next two subcommittees I'm the chair of, so I'll go into that. The first one is Coastal Resiliency Network. Our board of directors saw that while other parts of New York had regionally based, state-supported networks that, among other things, provided assistance to communities facing sea level rise, flooding, those living along marine coastlines, specifically Westchester, Nassau, and Suffolk counties, lack such a group. And it is those areas of our state that face the most impact. New York City was not included as it has extensive programs directed at this issue. And by the way, when we started this project, New York City was not part of NYSAC, but even though they have since become part of NYSAC, we haven't included them because they have an incredible network of programs already set up. We have been involved with the formation of the regional network for the past 3 years. We created a webpage on our association website devoted to marine sea level flooding. In the past, we've partnered with New York Sea Grant to sponsor informational webinars. We presently look forward to meeting with key legislators in Albany to discuss how the state can create and finance this network, and welcome your involvement in this effort. So anyone from Long Island, which I don't believe anyone's here, or Southern Westchester, I don't know if Kristen is still here. Yeah, and Sage is here, of course. Sage, these are folks that are members of the board of directors that are directly involved with that subcommittee. The second one is the Westchester Environmental Network. Our bylaws allow NYSAC to form chapters. As recently as the early 2000s, New York State had a network of environmental management councils that served the same function as in conservation advisory commissions, but on a county level. But due to the elimination of funding starting in the late 1990s, EMCs began to disappear. EMCs, by the way, were always part of NYSAC's from its very beginning. Actually, when they did the bylaws, they included EMCs as certainly as part of NYSAC's family of groups that we covered. Westchester County and Westchester County leads the state in the number of active commissions, but has no EMC. It was abolished in the early 2000s. There's no group presently within the county that takes the place of its EMC. NYSAC began in late 2024 an effort along with the county to create the Westchester Environmental Network, a network supported by its municipalities. To date, we had a meeting this past May in which 80 representatives of CACs and climate smart community task forces met to discuss establishing such a network. We intend to keep having these periodic meetings. We are currently working on creating a digital forum as well as a creation of regional networks covering specific areas of the county. It is hoped that if we can create a county network in Westchester, we can use that experience to assist other counties who also don't have an EMC. And again, please contact us if you're interested in establishing a network in your county. And I can't emphasize how important that is. Westchester, as I said, has the most CACs and climate smart communities, but they have no focus. It's all every man for themselves or every woman for themselves. I guess that's the correct thing, person. So it's important that if you are in a county that has these groups, you need to basically think about how you can bring people together within your county, and this is one way of doing that. I'm going to go to food scraps because I have a few things I need to look at. So food scraps is Time Ferris. Food scraps, you'll you'll describe what that's all about. Thank you.
Thank you, Simon. Hello again, everybody. Again, I am Time Ferris. I am the chair for the Food Scraps Diversion Work Group that we currently have. It is open to everyone. I encourage people to get involved with this. Currently, we are meeting on the third Monday of every month at noon. 10, thank you, at 10 a.m. We are fluctuative with that. And by that, I mean that if people reach out to us and say that is not a good working time, we're more than happy to try to move that around for folks. What our focus right now is when we're talking about food scraps diversion is that is a tremendous amount of information that already exists out there from a plethora of other organizations across the country, but especially just in New York, we've got more than a couple. However, what is the big overarching issue that we found and that we're working on is really about how we access that information. There is not the DEC, not the EPA. No one actually covers intently all of the subcategories of food scraps diversion. So I've found that very interesting as we've been working on this project. Those that do have this information, we now live in an Instagram society. We need to be moving forward technologically to advance with the need and to make sure that we're connecting with our next generation of individuals and handing off this kind of work. So we're helping to bring all that data into one spot. Information is disappearing from our federal databases. We're working on downloading that so as that we at least have a protected version of those reports and pieces of information that were out there. And then we're trying to further push that visual piece. We're in the world of infographics. We're a scroll society now. You only have roughly 15 seconds to get somebody's attention when we're talking about working with social media and things of that. And those are just the low-hanging fruit on how we are working as a work group on the food scraps to bring that all together and hopefully try to simplify that process across New York State. Thank you.
Okay, the next group is called Rural Outreach. The chair of that is Brett Johnson, who is somewhere. He was. Oh, there he is on left. Brett sent me what he was going to say, and unfortunately, because we had to move rooms, we are not able to hear him. So I'm going to read what his remarks were. Yes? It's okay, because we're sort of short on time, and I'm gonna sort of condense what he has to say. So, hi, everyone. My name is Brett, and I have the honor of being the chairperson of Rural Outreach. There he is. I come from a small town with a large amount of land, farms, watersheds, and a desire to aid all of them wherever, whatever possible. Rural Outreach is a NYSACC committee pertaining to many items entwined with rural and the great open space of rural areas. We have many rural CACs, Conservation Advisory Councils, yet around 1,300 rural municipalities don't have any kind of committees. And that's actually something that NYSACC has been trying to tackle this for a long, long time. We have approximately about 310 municipalities and counties that we know of that have some form of advisory committees, but there are roughly 1,600 municipalities in New York State. So that means 1,300 municipalities we don't believe have any kind of CAC or any kind of climate sustainability committee. So this is a task that is obviously a huge effort, and it's sort of overwhelming. But at any rate, a lot of these communities are rural, and they don't have commissions for a reason. They just don't have a population base to support volunteer groups. So this is one of the things that Brett is working on, to reach out to these communities and say, hey, you know, we have some people here that can help you. And there are models that we could follow. Our last year's conference was up at the Tug Hill region, which is east of Lake Ontario. And again, an area that's completely rural. There's very few population centers. And what they've developed, the state actually created the Tug Hill Commission, and which is state finance, obviously. So what they do is they have what they call people who go from community to community, representing good environmental planning. They act as a resource for these communities. They don't necessarily have those kind of people or groups in their population. So that's one of the things that our rural community is doing. I'm going to shorten this, Brett, just because of time. But again, this is an effort that if you do live in a rural community, please get involved with this, because it's going to help you. At the same time, it's going to help other communities in New York State. So I really stress that for anyone living in a rural community. We do have members of NYSAC's board of directors that do come from rural communities. Brett is not doing this alone, but it is, as I say, it's a lot of effort. So thank you, Brett, for your work, and I'll move on to the next item here. So just give me a second to get this thing back up on my screen. Of course, this is gonna not work that quickly. Here we go. Julie. Here we go. Okay. Then I think we only have one more report. Oh, we have two more reports, but we're starting a youth outreach program. Obviously, people like myself are not the future. The future is in young folks. And it's been a problem for CACs, especially CACs, because they dealt with land use issues, which are not necessarily very sexy. Groups that are dealing with climate change get a lot more attention. So I think they're definitely getting young people getting involved. But those people involved with land use decisions don't. So we're trying very hard to do this. Garrett Marino, who's up in Saranac Lake, and I just have to pull him up just a second Garrett, by the way, was supposed to be here, but he had a breakdown of his car. I may have mentioned that already, but okay. So Garrett, just so I can figure out what he does. Okay, so Garrett is the Youth Climate Leadership Coordinator for what is it? The Wilding. Sorry?
The Wild Center.
The Wild Center, thank you. And that's his day job. So he's very much involved in setting up youth climate summits throughout New York State and actually throughout the world. The Wild Center does that. That's one of their great virtues. So he's leading that group. We just started that group a few months ago. We had just one meeting, but we're really looking forward to that committee taking off and bringing young people into the NYSAC family, into their local communities, and that's sort of where that's going. So that's that report. And then the last one is we have a group that is also starting up. It's called Electrification, but we haven't really pinned what we mean by electrification. One of the members of that group is very much interested in electrifying landscaping equipment. She's from Westchester, my county, and that's obviously that's a big deal in Westchester, is the fact that landscapers are using gas-powered equipment, extraordinarily polluting, huge amount of pollution coming out of just a small engine compared to an automobile. So that's one aspect of it. Another member who lives up in Rochester is trying to figure out a way where municipalities can take over solar farms after about 7 years, because typically developers pull their money out of the solar farm within a limited period, and then it's okay, but they're open to being bought out. So if a municipality buys that, then they start creating a revenue stream into their community. That's going to be a tough thing to do as well. So the electrification, we're not sure yet where it's going to go, but if anyone's interested in that, please get a hold of us. And that's really the end of that portion of the meeting. And I'm just going to now go on to the next, which is, I think, the bylaws. Let me just see what I got here, if I can find that thing back again. Yeah. Sorry about that. Okay, yeah, so, okay, so bylaw changes. I'm gonna read this because it's got a lot of, boilerplate in it, which it's, again, whether you need to know this or not, it's something that, you might be interested in. Our original constitution and bylaws were ratified by the unanimous vote of the Board of Directors at their organizational meeting on September 9th, 1972, held at the DEC's Lake Colby Conference Center in Saranac Lake. They were subsequently amended by vote by the Board of Directors on April 16th, 1975, October 17th, 1975, June 23rd, 1977, and October 5th, 2003. Most recently, our Board of Directors voted unanimously to amend this document on October 16th of this year, I should say. We have sent out both the red line and the final copies to you, just so that you would have an opportunity to see it before the conference. So I'm not going to go through it line by line. What I am going to do, there are 8 items that I thought was significant enough to at least mention it at this conference. I'm sorry?
Can it be displayed? Yes.
We could, but it's like a 17, 18-page document, so. Well, if you want to, Julie can do that. You want to do the red line, because the red line would be easier for me. Okay, so if you want to put that up on the screen, that works. Okay, so as I read it, Julie, get this up here. So the first item is, while the original bylaws concern themselves with land use groups such as conservation advisory commissions and boards, the revision now includes such groups as climate smart community task forces and sustainability committee, groups that are there to assist the municipalities and counties on how to make themselves more resilient in the face of a warming planet. This is something that I noted when I became president, that there's a tremendous group out there that, while they have many state connections, they don't have a group that allows them to meet like this as annually, and they don't have access to other groups around the state. So we felt that this would be a perfect opportunity to expand NYSAC, make it more relevant, but to include a group that really is the emerging group in our state right now. More so even than land use. However, land use and climate change are so tightly intertwined that really it's a perfect marriage. So that was one change. The second change was, in order to foster environmental justice, especially in disadvantaged communities, our bylaws now direct the association to take actions to assist municipalities and counties that have suffered historical injustice through the establishment of an environmental justice network that Paul had mentioned. So now that's now codified in our bylaws. Policies on ethics, anti-discrimination, and conflicts of interest were created, as well as establishing an economic hardship voucher program. Essentially, if your community cannot pay your dues, we can help you out. That's one of the things that we've added to the bylaws. Further, directors and officers of the association in the performance of their duties shall be indemnified and hold harmless. We never thought of adding this at all, and we thought, gee, who's going to ever sue us, or who's ever going to be concerned about us? We're just like a small little, association that would try to be more recognized. But in this environment, anything goes. So we are looking into getting insurance for the officers and directors to protect them from we would assume frivolous lawsuits, since we're basically an educational, we're not an advocacy group. If we're faulted, we faulted on giving the wrong information, but since we base it on science, I'll let them prove otherwise. So that's one thing that's been added. The original bylaws excluded environmental groups in New York City from becoming members of NYSAC, and that has been stricken. And the number of board of director members has been increased by 2 to now stand at 28. And by the way, we now have 2 advisory boards, one in Manhattan and one in Brooklyn, as dues-paying NYSAC members, which I think is fabulous. And Matt Civello is the chair of the Manhattan Solid Waste Advisory Board that answers to their borough chief. So he fits perfectly into the definition of a CAC person. So we're very, believe it or not, that was one of the things when back in 1989, I said, well, where's New York City in this whole thing? And it it was actually stricken. I mean, New York City was stricken for whatever reason, 1972, they felt New York City did not belong in a statewide association. I have no idea why. But we've remedied that. Both regional directors and directors at large now have a uniform term of 2 years. It was also something we don't understand, 2 years for regional directors and 3 years for directors at large. It didn't make any sense. We now made them both 2 years. To our standing committees, we've added a new group that handles NYSAC operations. We are moving into a new phase in which general members shall have available to them new means of communicating within their own commissions, as well as to the association with the incorporation of the use of new digital tools. This is very exciting. Time is the chair of the membership committee that has, and Haven is the chair of the operations committee. And this is something that we're really excited about. It's a learning curve for most of us old timers, but we'll get there. And I think that we have the ability to share that with our general membership. And I'll just briefly say what one of those things are. We haven't really finalized yet, but it's something that we think we're going to do. One of the problems we have as an association is keeping tabs of who's in charge of what commission at any particular time. It goes in and out. People come in, they come out. So it's a very onerous task to keep up to date. So one of the things that we're asking commissions to do is to, instead of having, and plus the fact people's personal emails are being publicly shown, which we think in this day and age, that's not a good idea. So one of the things that NYSAC can do, now that we've gone into this new digital format, is to create specific emails for your commission. So like, for example, I live in the town of Bedford, it would be bedfordny@nysac.org. Bedford happens to have a conservation chair email, so that they're fine. But for those communities that don't have that kind of uniform, that sort of protection, we can offer that. And you can actually receive emails that are automatically distributed to your members. And so it's something that we're very excited about, and we're hoping to get that thing moving as soon as we can. Then we've also added in project work groups, to all general members. Yeah, so in other words, we've added the whole issue of what all these reports that we gave you are now codified, that we have project work groups, and that they're meant not to be standing or forever. They're meant to be temporary groups that address the project, put together like a white paper that we can share with the rest of the community and our members, and then disband. So they're not long-term things. We've added okay, and then the last item is that today we have in person and we have a virtual. There may be occasions where people want to vote but are not able to attend either version. So we've also added the alternative of giving them a written proxy. So if they want to vote in elections or any vote that's taken, they have the ability to do a proxy vote. That's it for the general discussion, other than to say, I'll also give a report on next year's conference. We're still looking for a host county to do that. We've been in touch with the western part of the state. We've been talking to Niagara County and Erie County. We've had conferences in Erie County about 12 years ago in Buffalo. I think it would be a great place to go in Niagara County if we can get someplace by the falls. So we're looking to them, but we haven't really found yet people who would do that. And if you ask the people in Ulster if they would do it again, they would probably say, "Are you out of your mind?" So, are you out of your mind? So it makes it a little bit harder if that's the outcome of this particular conference. But I do raise that if anyone is out of the Ulster County area, that and I don't know if anyone does represent areas outside of the Hudson River, we're all looking for perhaps the Albany capital area, and eventually we're also going to have something out in Long Island. So we move around the state, and that's a very healthy thing to do. So at that, I'm just going to stop talking, and I open the floor up to anyone who would like to discuss any matter that pertains to our association. So
Just identify themselves so that people in the room know who's on.
okay, sure. All the people on the board of directors, please stand up. Okay, thank you, Julie. That's nice of you to think of thanking our people that have spent their lives doing this. So anyone else have a comment? Oh, yes, Mung. Yes, Mung. But we can't hear him. That's the problem. Oh, he's on the board of directors. Thank you, Julie. Mung, do you have a question? I don't know what that means. I think he's saying goodbye. No, I think he was just saying goodbye. All right, does anyone have any issues or any comments? Yes, time. Sure. You want to stand up and do it at the podium? Absolutely.
So real fast, especially since we have a room that is not just our board of directors, which is generally what we are talking to. If you have not seen yet, you will be seeing more outreach from our regional directors coming from the membership committee, trying to create more direct communication that's going on. We are in an expansive moment in the organization right now, as far as really, I know probably several people in this room have said, why do we pay dues other than your discount to go to the conference? We are working on a really dynamic add-on of the value that comes behind your participation in NYSACC. NYSACC is very unique in the fact that there are no other organizations within New York State that span being that hub of communication between municipalities, from climate smart communities all the way through to our CACs. We can only do our work better if we have more activity from our members. So we are hoping that we do see more of you joining our work groups or our membership committees or some of our other activities that we have there. I want to expand on real quick on Simon mentioned about the Google platform or Google Workspace. This not only will allow you to have an email, but this is also a way to now, I know Haven has talked about that this is a really great opportunity to be able to host Google Meets. So you're not having to pay a Zoom or make sure that you're doing a meeting within the 45 minutes, hour that is allotted for you. So a lot of value coming into there. And I just want to, in trying to ask all of you to get more involved with NYSACC, with these committees, with everything that we're doing, I want you to really understand and put in the back of your head, your involvement with NYSACC shouldn't be something that is adding another to-do on your list. This should be about delegating and being able to spread out your net of being able to get the information, get the work done, support from whether it's our project work group database that we already have or anything else to make your lives easier by minimal involvement with the organization. So if you do have any questions or interest in more stuff with membership for you or your community, please, you can always email simon@president@nysac.org, or you can get me at membership@nysac.org.
All right, I don't see any hands up. Oh, I see a hand up. Yes, MJ.
I just want to repeat and emphasize the idea that environmental groups, it would be good if they were involved with their municipal or county hazard mitigation plan to the best of their ability to do what they can to assure that it is as environmentally informed as possible, because that is a big gap on a lot of plans.
Thank you for raising that, because NYSAC actually put in a grant application to the Nature Conservancy in January or beginning of February of this year to do exactly that. What? That wasn't it?
The hazard mitigation plan is different than a disaster debris management.
Okay.
Plan. Two separate documents.
All right, well, that's my ignorance there. So we did something that was somewhat similar in that, is that when communities face serious events where debris is created, there is typically no distinction between what's toxic and what's not toxic. It all gets put together into it goes to a toxic landfill, and it's incredibly expensive. So one of the things, we didn't get the grant, by the way, which is somewhat good, because, you know, in January, we felt, okay, we have a FEMA that would be part of this, and now we're not so sure what FEMA is up to. So it's okay. But the principle behind that is still very strong. what we wanted to do was involve environmental people in their local communities, working with their Department of Public Works, working with their police department to develop a debris management plan that is environmentally sound, so that it, on many levels, that's a good idea. And we still think it's a good idea, but it just wasn't to be this year, and we hope to see what we can do about it further in the year. So just to end the, anyone else have any comments before I stop? Okay, no, I just want to thank you all for coming. I mean, this was a great conference, and I always like to see people that I either only see on a Zoom call and see them in person, or especially people who have never really gotten involved with NYSAC. So it's really been a pleasure having you all here, and I really thank you all. So again, drink at the drink up shortly, but go ahead.
Gonna drink, take it. The room, or now even. That's good for either a well drink, a glass of wine, or a beer, or of course we have non-alcoholic drinks. That's right out here in this room. That will go till 6, and then dinner is in the ballroom at 6. And if you're heading out and are not staying, or even if you are, please make sure you fill out the survey. We've been doing this conference for a really long time, and it is very helpful to know what we did well, what we didn't do well, what we can do better. So please just scan the QR code and do the survey, and do a long session to rate. Thank you so much, everybody. Enjoy the rest of the